What's up, gang? It is July 30th, another huge day for us this week. Lots of big plays still rolling in here. We've had a lot of big FUS4 breakout patterns rolling in. First up was PRAN that I locked in a majority of my gains in here yesterday at 370. You know, this is one that we had been continuing to watch. This is a FUS4 force pattern. As you can see, you know, moving back here, the neutral lead-in trend is neutral, and we had this big triangle pattern that began forming up. And you know, I bought into this on that first day of the spike here, initially at 270. If we go forward one day, there it is. We can see this spiked all the way up to 3. Looked like it was breaking out, but didn't quite get that breakout. But I continued to hold. My first buys were in the 270s, and from there it just kind of consolidated back and forth for a couple days, and I continued to add here as we were nearing that $3 breakout level before this thing finally just absolutely exploded all the way up near my $4 price target. Yesterday it peaked out about $3.96. I didn't take my profits up there at that up near 4. I was hoping to get that 4, and then it started pulling back, and I ended up selling yesterday about the 370 range here. Looking at the intraday, after that came back down, and then this popped back up, sold at 370 and sold some more up in the 380s area. And then today I still only had about 1,000 shares left. I locked in majority yesterday, locking in, I think it was about 4,600 in profits. I'm not exactly sure yet. We'll see once everything shows up on Profitly and I close the trade. But it was close to $5,000 in profits on PRAN locked in yesterday. And then today, intraday, this thing just dropped massively all the way down to a low of 330. And I actually added 1,000 shares down here at 334, right near the bottom. I got pretty lucky to pick the very, very bottom of this intraday sell-off here. This is actually my buy right around in here. Just 1,000 shares. Nothing too crazy. So now I have 2,000 shares. My average fill price is still pretty solid at 309. So I still have, you know, a really decent buy right under the 309 level here. 2,000 shares is my average on this second half of the longer term swing position. So I'm going to hope that we can kind of hold above today's low. Basically, as long as it can hold today's low, I'll continue to hold this and hope that we can consolidate, form up some kind of flag pattern, and then potentially maybe break out above 4 and even higher from there. As always, you know, once the stock breaks out of a FUS4 pattern, as long as it holds the 13 EMA, which is all the way down at $3 per share, I'm not going to let this stock slide that much. I'm going to put my stop at about the low of today at 333 or 331. And wait for the 13 EMA to either catch up, or I'll sell it if it breaks down. But you know, the obvious thing that I wanted to do is to flag here and form up another consolidation pattern before rallying even higher than $4 per share. But you never know what's going to happen. But you know, sometimes you want to hold on to a few shares to see what happens for the longer term swing. Next up was INO. This stock has been huge for us. I'm up over $15,000 in total on this stock now on my third trade of this play. You know, when we first bought into this on this gold pattern, that broke it around the 80-cent level, and then continued to add when it broke over 1. You know, a gold pattern profit target is always usually around $2 per share. So as I said before, and I've said time and time again with these gold patterns, you know, the profit target on these is $2 per share, but having the patience to hold from $1 up to 2 and going through all this crazy swing stuff that we see here, you never really know what the stock's going to do. I've never had enough patience to do that. So, you know, I usually typically sell, lock in profits, continue to watch it, and I'll trade in and out of it several times. And that's exactly what I've done. I first initially added at 83 cents, added again at 1, sold up in the 150s. This came back down, reconsolidated, formed up a survival pattern breakout here. I added at 134, sold at 146, then again today, and right off the watch list last night. Well, you got to be keeping your eyes on this watch list. We started forming up this flag pattern here right at 148. We went red all of a sudden on the day, but then started peaking out at 148. And I said, if we break 148, here on Foos TV and in chat. I said this is going to be the trigger for this to go long, and this could definitely start pushing higher. So once that broke 148, I went long 10,000 shares, and from there this thing just boomed all day long. And now we're up at 185 after hours, closed actually at 187, so almost 30% gain today on this stock. So huge rip. I definitely think this is going to be a magnet towards $2 per share tomorrow, which is where I'll likely looking to take profits. I only have 2,500 shares left. I took the majority of my profits on the way up on this stock. I made about 3,000 plus dollars today on this INO trade. It didn't have a huge position, 10,000 shares. Would have been nice, obviously, to be going much bigger than that and make more money. But woulda, shoulda, coulda. I had no idea the stock was going to blow up 28% or 28% today. I had an idea that it might make a good move, but I wasn't expecting as big of a move at all as it made today. So awesome trade there on INO today. Another one is Meat. MEET. This is a son of a bitch stock is what it is. My first trade here on MEET, I made about 2,500 bucks. And then I've been trying to hit this breakout. See all these fake out spikes here every time. Every time this thing spikes to the upside, it keeps continually faking out and starts selling off to the downside, and I keep getting stopped out for about $400 to $500 loss. Basically, I think I had 3 or 4 losses in a row trying to hit this breakout. And then today, finally, we actually had a strong close, huge volume in. So this could be the catalyst for us to finally break out above this level here on this revival pattern. We have a huge amount of volume in here. The reason why the stock began moving in the first place was, I believe it was a solid earnings report, so it's got good fundamental, outlook going on for it right now, plus all this volume, and we're sitting right here with a huge breakout candle and nice volume. I definitely think this could be, the time that it's actually going to break out to the upside. But, I wouldn't put it past this stock to all of a sudden just completely crap out tomorrow, and I stop out for about potentially break even or a small loss. But I'm going to give it another shot because I do believe the stock is going to break out hard one of these days soon, and I don't want to miss it. Just like OCZ, I had tried to buy into this breakout, 2 or 3 times as well, and got stopped out every time because all these stupid freaking spike up candles that would just not go anywhere. You can see it just spike up, completely soft, spike up, completely soft, but it still kind of held the trend there above the 13 EMA that finally had a 2-day very big rip from about 167 all the way up to $2 per share, and I missed it because I didn't participate when it tried to break out once again. So it's kind of hard to gauge what's going to happen. Lots of these stocks are faking out, and then all of a sudden they just explode. So hopefully I can catch Meat, and you guys are part of this as well, and you can be part of this actual breakout on Meat, MEET, if it can finally get the move here. LITV, another very, very shaky stock that I'm long, about 1,500 shares. What's my average fill price? 17 something, low 17s. But this is a great looking chart pattern. I absolutely love the chart pattern on LITV. It's a recent IPO. It's never been over these highs of about 1824, 1819. So that whole number of resistance right around that 18 level is a major catalyst for this stock. It's currently riding over the 13 EMA. Actually bounced off there pretty nicely today. This morning was looking pretty crappy. I was like, oh great, here we go. New lows on LITV. I'm down almost, I think it was down almost $1,500, $200, or $1,500 or $2,000 on this, and then all of a sudden it rallied from about the low 16s. I called out in chat and on Twitter saying, hey, here's bounce time on LITV, but I already have 1,500 shares. I don't want to add any more and put any more risk, and so I didn't add any more, which would have been nice, 16 to 16, and they're the dollar up to 17.22 on 1,000 shares. That could have been another $1,000 gain, but not a huge closed about break even, but it does have that doji still riding above the 13 EMA, still consolidating in this triangle pattern. So you never really know what it's going to do. That's the thing about buying pre-breakout. It's always nice to be in that stock before the stock actually breaks out, and then you can add again on the break. But you're going to get shook around while it's going up and down in between this kind of triangle pattern. You never really know what it's going to do. It might not ever break out, and you have to be prepared to take the loss if the stock starts to break down. But I like to try to anticipate the breakouts and be in there first before the crowd. So once that stock does hit that breakout, it explodes, and we're already there, maybe potentially adding to the position rather than just getting started. Because if it's a false breakout and all of a sudden breaks out and you do your first position up here at 18, hits maybe 18.50 and all of a sudden collapses and you don't sell, you're in at a crappy price. So I like to be in before the breakout and try to have a nice risk reward once that stock breaks out. And if it is a false breakout, I'm not in a crappy position if it starts pulling back on us. Let's see what else we got here. CDTI, this is one that I'm still watching here. This has been on the watch list. It had that huge rip earlier last week, and now it's pulled all the way back down to 13 EMA. So watch for a red to green move on CDTI tomorrow and a potential buy. I actually have 900 shares of this stock at 151. I didn't alert it. I didn't even really realize that my shares went through. I had an order for 5,000 shares that I was going to alert if it did fill, or a limit order at 151. 900 shares did go through, so I still have an open order for the other 4,100 at 151 that didn't go through, and so I didn't alert that stock. I only got filled 900 shares, but that was right about a 13 EMA. And I definitely think this stock has bounce potential once this kind of finally gets rid of all those sellers, especially if it can pull a red to green move into tomorrow. But anyways, that's about it. I haven't done a watch list yet, so there's probably some other stocks to look at as well, but these are just kind of the positions that I'm in right now and looking at immediately. Great week so far, and let's see what else we got going for us tomorrow.